Beowulf, fitt 41 in the original. The bloody track of Swedes and Geats, the murderous strife of men, was visible far and wide. How these peoples fostered the feud between themselves. Then the brave king, the careworn veteran, went with his tribesmen to his fastness. The lord Oniontheow moved further off. He had had knowledge of Hughlach's fighting powers, of the proud one's skill in war, and trusted not in resistance that he might withstand the sea folk and defend his treasures, children and wife from the ocean-farers. And so after that the aged man retreated from thence once more behind an earth wall. Then was chase given to the Swedish folk. The banners of Hughlach overran the fastness until Hughlach's retainers pressed on to the enclosure. There was the grey-haired Oniontheow driven to bay by the edges of swords, so that the people's king had to submit to his end at the hands of Eivor alone. Angrily did Wulf, the son of Wonred, strike at him with his weapon, so that at the stroke the blood spurted forth from the veins under his hair. Yet was the veteran shielding not afraid, but quickly paid the deadly blow back with a harder counterstroke as soon as he, the people's king, had turned on him. The active son of Wonred could not give the return blow to the older man, but Oniontheow first clave Wulf's helmet on his head, so that he was forced to sink down, stained with blood. He fell to earth, and still he was not doomed, but he came round, though the wound pained him. Hughlach's sturdy follower Eivor broke his broad blade, his sword made by giants of old, over the protecting shield, the massive helmet, the while his brother lay, and then the king fell down. The shepherd of his folk was wounded mortally. Then were there many who bandaged his brother Wulf and raised him up quickly when victory in the battlefield had been granted them. Meanwhile one warrior stripped the other and took from Oniontheow his iron corselet, his strong and hilted sword, and his helmet, bore to Hughlach the veteran's harness. And he received the spoils, and honourably promised him rewards among men, and he performed it too. He, lord of the Geats and son of Hrethel, recompensed Wulf and Eivor for the storm of battle with copious treasure when he had got back home, and gave to each of them 100,000 shertis in land and linked rings. No man on earth could blame him for the gifts, since they had earned the honours by fighting, and to Eivor he gave his only daughter as a pledge of favour and to grace his home. That is the feud and enmity, the deadly hatred of men, according to which the people of the Swedes will attack us, as I have no doubt, when they learn that our Lord is dead. It was he who in the past guarded against enemies our wealth and kingdom, the bold shield warriors after the fall of mighty men, advanced the people's welfare, and furthermore did deeds of valour. Now speed is best, that we should look upon the people's king there, and bring him who gave us treasures on his way to the funeral pyre. Not one part only shall be consumed with the bold warrior, for there is a hoard of treasures, countless gold, acquired at terrible cost, and now at last rings bought with his own life. These shall the fire eat up, the flames consume. No noble shall wear an ornament in his memory, nor shall fair maiden have a torque adornment round her neck, but sad of mood, bereft of gold, they shall tread the land of exile, often, not merely once, now that the army leader has laid aside laughter, joy, and mirth. Therefore shall many a spear, chill at morn, be grasped with fingers lifted by the hand. No sound of harp shall wake the warriors, but the dark raven, eager after doomed men, shall recount many things, and tell the eagle how it sped him at the feast, when he, contending with the wolf, laid bare the slain. Thus the brave youth was a teller of grievous tales, nor was he much amiss in facts or words. The whole band rose. They went sadly with welling tears by Earnanas to see the wondrous sight. There they found on the sand, lifeless, keeping his bed of rest, him who in times past gave them rings. There had the hero's last day come to pass, in which the warrior king, the Geats prince, had died his wondrous death. But first they saw a stranger being there, the hateful serpent, lying on the plain there opposite. The fiery dragon, terribly bright, was scorched with glowing embers. 50 measured feet long was it as it lay. Sometimes by night it used to dwell in the joyous air, then it came down again to seek its den, and there it was, rigid in death. It had inhabited the last of its earth caves. Goblets and flagons stood by it, dishes lay there, and precious swords, rusty and eaten through, as if they had lodged there 1,000 winters in earth's bosom. At that time the mighty heritage, the gold store of men of old, was hedged round with a spell, that no man might touch the treasure chamber, had not God himself, true King of victories, he is the shield of men, granted to whom he would to open the hoard, even to such a man as seemed meet to him.